Have a seat. Let's talk about something you might believe is true. You've heard it whispered in coffee shops, stated as fact in electronic stores, and maybe even said it yourself. Macs can't get viruses. It's a comforting thought, isn't it? The idea that your sleek, expensive machine is a digital fortress, immune to the dangers lurking online. You see the headlines, you hear the horror stories of people losing everything to ransomware on their PCs, and you lean back, confident. You paid a premium for that Apple logo, and with that premium, you believe you bought perfect, impenetrable security. It feels safe, it feels secure, but is it the truth? So where did this powerful myth begin? To understand that, we need to turn back the clock. Let's go back to the 1990s and early 2000s. In those days, the world of personal computing looked very different. Microsoft Windows was the undisputed king, running on nearly every desktop in every home and office. It was a sprawling, dominant empire. Apple, on the other hand, was a much smaller player, a niche product favored by artists, designers, and educators. Think about it from a predator's perspective. A hacker, a malware creator, is essentially a criminal entrepreneur. If you were going to design a piece of malware to steal credit card numbers or create a botnet, would you target the system used by 95% of the population or the one used by 5%? Now, let's be fair. The myth wasn't built entirely on marketing and obscurity. There are fundamental architectural differences in how macOS is designed that have historically given it a security advantage. To understand this, you don't need to be a computer scientist. Think of it like this. The core of macOS is built on a foundation called Unix. This multi-user design creates a system of permissions. Picture your computer as an office building. On a less secure system, a virus might get in through an email and be given a master key card that lets it roam every floor from the mailroom to the CEO's office. In the Unix-based world of macOS, however, that virus is given a key card that only works on the first floor. Another key feature Apple has implemented is something called sandboxing. Imagine a child sandbox. When you download an app from the App Store, macOS essentially puts it in its own digital sandbox. So if macOS has its own weaknesses, why do we still see so many more attacks on Windows? The old reason was market share, and believe it or not, that is still the single biggest factor today. As of right now, in 2025, Windows still commands a dominant position in the desktop and laptop market worldwide. Cybercrime is a business, and that business is driven by volume and efficiency. A hacker's goal is to compromise the maximum number of machines with the minimum amount of effort. However, this is where a dangerous shift is happening. As Apple's market share grows, so does its appeal as a target. Macs are expensive. The people who own them are perceived to have more disposable income. This makes them prime targets for financial fraud, data theft, and especially ransomware. It is time to be very clear. The idea that macOS is impenetrable is patently false. Apple's fortress has walls, but those walls have cracks. Security researchers find and report vulnerabilities in macOS and iOS all the time. One of the biggest threats to Mac users, just like PC users, is something called a zero-day exploit. When a predator finds a zero-day, they have a golden key that can unlock any up-to-date Mac in the world. These are the most dangerous types of exploits, and they are often used by sophisticated attackers, including government intelligence agencies and high-level cybercrime syndicates. For anyone who still believes that Macs are immune, let's look at the evidence. The history of Mac malware is real, and it is growing. One of the earliest major outbreaks was the Flashback Trojan in 2012. It disguised itself as an Adobe Flash Player installer. More recently, the landscape has become even more sinister. We have seen the rise of Mac-specific ransomware. Take a piece of malware called KeyRanger, discovered in 2016. Once activated, it would encrypt a user's personal files, photos, documents, everything, and demand a ransom payment in Bitcoin to unlock them. Spyware designed specifically for macOS is a growing concern. A notable example is a family of malware known as OX Fruitfly. Perhaps one of the most significant developments was the discovery of Silver Sparrow in 2021. This mysterious piece of malware infected nearly 30,000 Macs, including Apple's new M1-powered machines. So far, we've focused on the computer on your desk, but the biggest vulnerability you have might not be in the software at all. It might be sitting in your chair right now. You are the human element, and you are the target that predators spend most of their time trying to exploit. Think about the emails you get every day, an urgent message, seemingly from your bank, claiming there's a problem with your account. The website looks real, the logo is perfect, but the link leads to a fake site controlled by a predator designed for one purpose: to steal your username and password. This threat extends beyond email. It's in your text messages, a practice known as smishing. And what about your passwords? When one of those services gets breached, and they get breached all the time, predators take those lists of usernames and passwords and try them everywhere else. So what are you supposed to do? It's not about being paranoid, it's about being prepared. First and foremost, keep your system and your software updated. When Apple releases a security update for macOS, they aren't just adding new emojis. Second, you need to be skeptical. Think before you click. If you get an email from your bank, don't click the link in the email. Open your web browser and type in your bank's address manually. Use strong, unique passwords for every important account. That's why you should use a password manager. Also, enable two-factor authentication, 2FA, wherever it is offered. Finally, consider using an extra layer of protection. While macOS has good built-in security, a reputable third-party antivirus or anti-malware program can provide an additional safety net. Your safety is your responsibility. The myth of the unhackable Mac is a dangerous fairy tale. The truth is that in the digital world, just like the real world, predators are out there. But by being smart, being vigilant, and taking a few basic precautions, you can make sure you are not their next victim. Stay safe.